guest people here at the Bass Culture exhibition celebrating Jamaican music surrounded by reggae culture. It's a brilliant exhibition. As you can see, this is pretty much the example of what a blues party or a showbiz is. I believe that exhibitions like this is very important because you start to unpack the history that is hidden away from the public. Because most of this is oral based, and most of this is teachings that you hear from your grandparents, aunties, uncles, dads, but to see the images of the lifestyle of the Caribbean people and black British people during the 60s, 70s, 80s is a beautiful thing to see, because you don't really see these images. And also when you start to unpack the stories and you find out about the fashion and and the politics that was happening during these times, you start to understand why music is important. And if we start to unpack these things, then you start to hold value onto the things that you own or is a part of your history. So when you start to look at songs, for example, like Justin Bieber's Sorry, or Major Lazer, DJ Snake, Lean On, and you start to hear the drum patterns of those songs, you realize those were stolen from an inspiration of Bam Bam Rhythm. Bam Bam Rhythm was created by two gentlemen called Sly and Robbie in the early 90s. That emerged because of the influences from Sister Nancy Bam Bam, which was in 1982. And if you go back, that was also influenced by Ansel Collins, who produced and made a lot of music and made the Stalag rhythm as well. So when you start to look at the history of music, you start to see the impact that Caribbean culture has played on British society. So if we don't know these things, we go along with what's happening, what the norm is, but we have to stick to what we know. And the more we know is the more we understand the whole value onto our things, and we can stop people like Justin Bieber, for example, making music like Sorry, because what he's doing is that he's taking cultural appropriation, what I call it teething. He's teething our music, teething our sound, and making money of it. If you look at his video, for example, you've got the dancers in there, and the dancers are doing Jamaican dances to the music, and look at the dress sense. They're dressed like some of the people that go to Carnival, but there's not one black person in the video. His video's got over 1 billion views. So when we allow these people to come in and we dance to their music, what it happens is though it magnifies it, and we say, okay, he's cool, he can get a pass, but then they make money off it, but the proceeds don't go to the people who started it. So it's very important that we understand these things, because what happens is that they will take something that you created or something that's dire or important to your culture, and then they'll make money off it or celebrate it in their own way and sometimes dilute it. So when you start to look at Justin Bieber's song Sorry, what tends to happen with European cultures when they take things from black people is that they'll give it another name. So when you look at that song, they created a whole genre called Tropical House. So some of the pop, dance or influenced music that you hear today is called Tropical House music. Imagine that. So again, the money goes where? To them, to the record labels, so on and so forth. But when you look at some of the slums in Jamaica that could do with some of the money, that some of the influences of the rhythms that we listen to today, that inspires other European people to then take that music and create their own genre, that money doesn't go back there. And that's the reason is because we just say, oh, okay, it's all right, because if they jump onto our rhythms, then we kind of get a pass to do other things because we just want to please them. And if we allow them to do certain things, then that means that they will allow us to do certain things, go into their clubs, go into their venues, so on and so forth. That just shows that we're too licky, innit? We got to stop being licky and say, you know, let's hold on to our things and then just really capitalize off that, because they're capitalizing off our stuff. So we've got to just push that away and own our things. But this is what education does. Education will teach you the history of yourself and the importance of black history, right? Moving on from that, and another thing that's very important is that we've got to understand the reason why things happen. Things don't happen by chance or by mistake. So when you look at, for example, reggae music, and in Jamaica there was a style called toasting. Toasting came about when he had one song on the side of a vinyl, so like a 45 RPM, okay, but the other side was instrumental. So then what the DJ used to be, which is D-E-E-J-A-Y, which is a DJ, okay, he would toast over the instrumental. So he would be saying certain lyrics, he will, whether it's fast or slow, he will big up the people in the crowd. That was called toasting. that obviously manifested into DJing. So DJing was holding a mic and being like a master of ceremonies. That's what MC stands for. That obviously burst hip hop, that obviously burst so many other things. That's where UK music comes from. So when you've got your people spitting over jungle, garage, grime, drill, whatever, that was birthed from Jamaican music that you're seeing here in the blues parties and shuggies from back in the day. So when you've got other people latching onto music that we create and they make money off it, then it's like, hold on, who's holding on to our things? Why are we always letting people come in and say, yeah, we got to stop celebrating their success? I don't care what they do. Stop letting people latch onto our things because they make money from it and they're not giving it back or giving props. So when you hear Tropical House, no one's celebrating Sly and Robbie. No one's paying them and saying, well, do you know what? At the end of the credits or whatever, when you got like short documentaries and films on Tropical House and pop music, you don't see Sly and Robbie getting bigged up. You don't get the Parish or Jamaica getting bigged up. You don't get any of them. We got to stop letting them hold on to our things because they make money from it and we don't. And we're just too licky because we want to be like that. And it's not our fault. It's because we don't even know ourselves. We don't even speak our natural tongue. I mean, the English language is very diluted at the moment. So in the 1600s, 1700s, you had the London Missionary Society. What they did is that they de-emphasized language. So they de-emphasized the English language where they started to scramble consonants. So like, you look at the word like, I don't know, physical. Like, okay, you don't actually, PH sounds like F. But why is that? So what they did is they changed a lot of words and sounds, and what it is, it has a tonal effect. What it is because they understood that your brain is separated into two, which is your left and right brain. So your left brain is more analytical, logical. Then your right brain is more emotional, it's more artistic. So what they decided to do is if we scramble the language a little bit, it will confuse the tonal region in your brain. Therefore, you won't be able to react to certain music. Hence, why your headphones has a left and right side. Reason is because the right side is more subjected to words, language. The left side is more subjected to songs, rhythm and beat. So sometimes you'll listen to a song and it goes into the right side of your brain, the emotional side, and you're like, whoa, do you know what? I felt that. It's because your brain's reacting to it. That's why, because if you take off your headphones slowly and you listen, you'll hear instrumentals will be like more so on the left hand side than on the right hand side. It's because there's a balance, so it pans certain ways. But they understood this and understood how the brain works. That's why the English language is a bit mad. And if the English language is your native tongue, for example, you will see that it's hard to learn other languages, as opposed to you like Chinese is your native tongue. You learn English is a lot easier. It's because the English language does something to your cranial. And if you go around the world and look at other regions, you understand that people have different cranial head shapes because of the language that it is, because they understand that the sound and frequency and tones has a transmission that can affect how your brain operates. So they understood this, and that's why music is important. And scientifically, we're listening to a lot of garbage right now. No offense to people that make music that people call that mumble rap or music that's considered like, okay, that's got no artistical kind of influence to it that you can go back and say it came from there, it's just garbage on the beat. Scientifically it is, because it's affecting us, and some of us are responding to that because of the tonal frequencies that we're responding to. So it's a great exhibition because it shows black beauty and black consciousness. But at the same time, we really and truly have to hold into our things and be more passionate about what we are and who we are. But that comes with education. The elders need to do a better job in explaining them and showing them what happened in the 60s and 70s, why there was riots, why we wore certain clothes, why we came out with certain lyrics, why there was dub poetry and so on and so forth. And the youngers need to kind of look into their past as well and respect it, but also apply it to now. And then we can create our own little segment, yeah, and practice nepotism and say, you know, this is for us. This is not for you, this is for us, because that's what they do to us, and we need to do the same. And that's how we get empowerment, and that's how we lift one another, because music is powerful. Hitler once said, not to quote someone bad, but Hitler once said, if you give me the power of music, I can control the youth. So he knew exactly what he was talking about, because music does control the world. So people, let's hold into our things. Look at these images here. Back in the day, look how they're getting down, look how beautiful it is, and look how well they're dressed as well. Because obviously fashion reflects the signs of the times as well and what you're listening to. So people, let's start appreciating music. Let's get back onto the days of when we made creative music. Obviously we can't go into the days of our ancestors when we basically, for example, like a drum had two sciences to it. So you had the botanical side of it, which was drums were made out of oak, beech wood, that sort of thing. Or you had the djembe, okay, which was made out of different type of wood, like lenke wood and stuff like that. And then obviously the actual top of the drum was made out of skin, which is zoology. So you had two different sides of a drum, but it was nature sounds, and we don't practice nature sounds. So they've de-emphasized sounds, because you go into the studio and type in keys and so on and so forth. You're not playing anything live anymore, and some of the instruments are quite fake. So it's synthetic music. So we've got synthetic language as well. So then we're just producing synthetic people. So we're not real within ourselves, because nothing's real anymore. So people, let's get back on the track. Let's get back to ourselves and let's start appreciating blackness, because black is beautiful. Peace and blessings. Have a good day.